Now we're live. Woohoo! Yay! We're live! Yay! Woo! All right. Anyway.
Awesome. Very good.
Yep.
All right. Let me just fire. Great. 6 people rolling in here.
Love it.
All right. That's going to be a fun one. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Getting ready here. Let me see if
welcome to the live stream, everybody.
I got a notification. There we go in my profile.
As you should have.
As I should have. Automation, automatically. Do we have a sponsor today, right?
Yes, Shopify.
Oh, I love Shopify.
Same.
Listen to us. I'm going to post something in the comments on this. Join us as we live stream. Business Show, Dave Hamilton. Thank you to Shopify. Shop. Hello,
topics as far as the agenda says, anyway.
Yeah, do it.
This week are... What do I got here?
Brain this week. Sweet.
Living through economic cycles.
Yep, I like it. We'll see if we can get
context
more...
as it relates to global talent.
Yep.
Don't confuse.
Last week we had 734 people in here. Let's see if we can break that record. This
week.
We're
trying to break it. That's right.
Well, I know we'll break it if we sit here long enough.
Right. Well, and that
definitely
that speaks to the BS element of all of this.
Hey, it's a framework in my head. I'm building a success ladder.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's very buzzword compliant right there.
That's it. That's right.
Let's see.
All about the buzzwords. Okay. Right, I am. We're doing this. We got the pre-show. We got 73 people in here so far that have at least looked at it, and I am dialed in. I got myself, my focus, my this. Great. All right. Nice. Okay.
Come on.
That's the first topic we're talking about. Oh, this is a good one. Yes.
Living through economic cycles. Yeah. What's going on here? Man. Web browsers suck. Okay. Whew. Oh, I should do this. No. That. And I should add this quickly to the stage, and we'll make it go away just in case.
Awesome.
All right.
Very good.
I'm ready to rock if you're ready to rock.
I am ready whenever you are.
Yeah, man. Let's make the magic happen.
Let's do it.
Okay. As far as you know. All right. Here goes absolutely nothing. Business Brain, episode 618. For Wednesday, January 29th, Free Thinkers Day, 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to help further tune our business brains so that we can keep on living that charmed life. Shopify.com/businessbrain is our sponsor for this episode. That's where you can go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Back here in Durham, New Hampshire, after being in Anaheim for the NAM conference last week, I'm Dave Hamilton.
Hey, I'm still out here in Lafayette, California. I'm Shannon Jean, and I love that we're recording on Free Thinkers Day.
Free Thinkers Day. Well, we're actually not recording on Free Thinkers Day, but we're releasing.
Yes, we're releasing on Free Thinker. And, there's a price to pay for being a free thinker.
Oh, tell me about it.
Big one. Your whole life, you'll be paying that price, and it's a great thing to recognize, and also to be prepared that you're going to pay that. There's a price to pay. If you want to, I would say, if you want to lead an uncommon life, you have to be prepared for people to be like, it makes people nervous. It makes some people get afraid, and most people do it because they care about you, right? And they think like, oh my gosh, this is insane. You're going to go nuts. But anyway, it's just a great day to be airing this episode.
It is. I mentioned that I was at the NAMM conference last week, and of course we talked about going off to it before when we recorded before I left. I had it was a great experience. Everything that I sort of worked towards, especially over the last year, but clearly over the last 10 years with Gig Gab, and maybe even longer than that. Really, it was nice to see how welcomed I was into the community, and
nice.
I felt like I was part of this community, even though I had never been there before, and all of that was great. There was one moment early on where I'm a big believer in what I'll call co-opetition, right? People that compete with each other, still helping each other with their businesses, or at least being friendly towards each other, and all of that, and not cutting people out.
Same.
I mean, you're not sharing your business secrets with people, but introducing people and making relationships and all of those things. It's the law of reciprocity, right? You give and then you get eventually. And it's not always a one-to-one relationship, of course.
Yeah. Right.
However, and most of this business, that business, the music business, is that in spades, because it's a fairly small industry.
Sure.
And then you chop it up into the different segments, like the microphone manufacturers and the headphone manufacturers, in-ear manufacturers, pro sound manufacturers. And then it gets really small. And all those people know they're going to work together at some point. They either have worked for each other or they will work for each other. It's because if you have expertise in one area, you're probably just going to bounce from one microphone company to another. You're not going to go outside that. I mean, you might, but so everybody sort of gets that for the most part. But there was one person early on who sort of snubbed me in a way of like, oh, well, if you don't know about this, then I'm not going to tell you about it.
That's ridiculous.
But I really truly believe in co-opetition. I am certainly a driven person. I wouldn't call myself overly competitive, at least not in a visceral way. However, however, I noticed something that happened, and it has happened other times in my career, all of which have been pivotal moments. And that is, in that moment when I felt snubbed by him, my first thought was, F that guy. And my second thought, which was almost in parallel with my first thought, was, okay, I guess what this means is now I've got to make a huge presence for myself in this industry again.
You want to win.
I need to win now.
You want to win. That's
right.
it.
And if he had been nice to me, I wouldn't. And he was nice. He just was not. He wasn't treating me as an equal. And it was like, okay, now I need to make it so that there's no question about what the relationship is here in this industry. And so immediately, and it did, in a sense, frame the whole week. Next year at NAMM, the plans are already underway that we're going to be doing Gig Gab live events with various very high profile vendors and things like that.
That's awesome.
And it was like, it was just, I laughed throughout the week at this one tiny little moment that this guy he's certainly not thinking about it anymore. It wasn't a big deal to him.
Yes.
Because it wasn't a big deal. And I'm not thinking about it from like I'll still be friendly with this person and all that stuff. I mean, they showed their colors. I understand. Fine. Yep. I know what box to put you in. We'll still be friends. It's all good. But it really did inform my week. Like, I got to keep driving. Because I got to show that guy. Even if it takes 5 years, I'm going to show that guy.
Everybody needs a chip right here.
That's it. He put that chip there right as soon as I arrived.
Yeah, it's that concept. It's that concept of everyone needs an enemy. Every team needs an enemy. Every group needs something to fight for. You bring mentally I don't know if it's just the human condition or whatever it is, but we're better when we have something to fight against.
Even if that enemy becomes an avatar. Like,
yes,
my issue is not actually with that guy, but he is the avatar now for what drives me. And I always say, if you have to spend your discipline points, and you have a limited number of those, if you have to spend those every day, it's really hard to get something done. But if you have some inner fire that is driving you to do it because you want to do it, then it gets way easier. It's like you with your, tell the story in reverse. You know where you want to get, then it's easier to get there. So
that's right. And I think that when I say, we talk about enemy or have it's a cause, and gets the sense of purpose. And it doesn't have to be, like you said, it's not a particular person. I'm sure that person's a very nice guy.
It's totally fine.
Yeah. But
I really don't. I'd have him over for dinner and have a beer with him. It's all fine.
Of course. You can pick entire industries. You
can
pick a whole concept. If you're like, I always, it's not a cause that I rail against is people feeling trapped working for someone else. We fight that battle. We're going up against those things of this mindset that it's riskier to work for yourself than it is to work for someone else. And I believe the opposite. It's far riskier to rely on someone else for a paycheck than it is to create one for yourself. Right?
Absolutely. Oh,
and so
100%.
So you can pick whatever you want, but having the cause and the
that
fight,
chip on your shoulder.
The chip,
you're right.
Yeah, it's not enough just to fight for something.
We did an episode about. I asked you, Shannon, I need to put a chip on my shoulder. Help me.
Not too long ago.
How do I do that? Right, not that long ago. Well, I found the way.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. It's great.
It is, and it. But that industry really is. I've been at the South by Southwest conference 15, 20 times. I can't even count the number.
That's cool.
I felt more a part of the NAMM community in the first day than I ever will or have at the South by conference. And
is that because there's more artists at the South by conference and more merchant type people at the NAMM conference?
I think so. There's a lot of reasons that I think that happens. Some of it is what I mentioned, where people are all going to work with each other in the end, and it's not so siloed, right? Everybody kind of has to be friendly with each other, and so that friendliness just sort of informs everything. It was a fascinating conference, and I will definitely go back. I'm a fool for not having gone in previous years. All right. Have you ever wished that starting a business was as simple as hitting buy now on a really good sale? Well, with our sponsor, Shopify, it practically is. I use Shopify for merch with two of my other businesses, and it's so flawless, I almost forgot what it was like to wrestle with clunky systems and endless setup headaches. Shopify lets you design your online store, manage inventory, handle payments, and ship orders all in one beautifully simple platform. Plus, with tools to connect your social channels, you can sell wherever your customers are scrolling. And did I mention Shop Pay? It's like a conversion wizard, turning abandoned carts into cash. Here's the kicker. If Shopify could make tea, I'd never leave my desk again. But since it runs my businesses like a dream, that's close enough. And hey, established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right. You and I had a conversation pre-show, Shannon. You were asking me, how can we make more money with this show?
Yeah.
That's not what this...
Always interested.
Well, of course. That's not what this topic is about. Because it led us into a conversation. You said, well, I feel like our listenership has been going up, and it has. Yep. And, and our longevity in the industry has been increasing, as it does, sort of by nature of linear time doing what it thinks. And the answer is, the question is, so why aren't we just naturally seeing revenues go up? And that led to a conversation about economic cycles. And I've had an interesting experience over the last, let's say, 5 years in the podcast business. Now, I'm old. I've been doing this older. There you go. Wiser. I'm more experienced. I have many years of experience, and I have seen economic cycles happen. I saw within about a year and a half after we started Mac Observer, I saw the .com bust.
I was there.
I know. Yeah. Thank goodness we did some smart things accidentally before that. AKA not spending any of the money we were collecting, which was really stupid in the moment, smart in hindsight, right? Yeah, exactly. So we had a little bit of a war chest. And obviously, we were able to survive and thrive through that, but it required retooling the way the entire businesses worked, including Backbeat Media. And then we saw the 2008 downturn, and then, of course, we saw the downturn that happened certainly in the online industry, but macroeconomically too, in like the 2023, 2024 range. And I watched an interesting thing happen in the podcast business. And so I'll relate this experience through that lens, but this is absolutely applicable to every industry everywhere.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
What I noticed was, we had 2018 was pretty good. 2019 was rocking. Like that was one of, if not certainly our best, the podcast industry's best year ever, and probably Backbeat Media's best year ever, I think. And then 2020 started. We were still rocking. Things were doing good. We had a 2-week pause at the end of March when COVID lockdowns were announced and all that stuff. Right. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And then it became very obvious what was going to happen. Everybody's going to be home for a very long time. And then all this money started being poured into the market so that businesses could, I looked at all that money, and we talked about it on the show, as sort of, a preventative for unemployment. It was like paying unemployment while people still had jobs, right? Because why not? The money was going to go to them either way. Might as well keep the companies going so that things can continue to thrive. And things, especially in the online industry, did for about another 18 to 20 months, because it was the only place people could really spend their advertising dollars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome. It was great. We looked like geniuses, but that's really right. What we were was just order takers in the right spot. And the money flowed. We were able to charge a high premium for many shows, including this one. And then the macro economy took a breather, right? And that impacted every business. And the advertising business is, I always say, we are leading indicators. We see it before it happens to everyone else, whether it's going up or down. Right. We get to see it. Yep. And it's just how it be. It's fine. It's something I've learned, and I don't necessarily like it when it goes down, but I understand that this is not the first time I've seen it, because it's not the first time I've seen it. However, there were a ton of people in our industry who, maybe a year and a half ago, like October, November of 23, where I would talk to them about, okay, yeah, things are slowing down. Oh, no, our business is basically flat, maybe up just a couple of points. And I'm like, we're down 30%. Like, I know this. And I know we're not doing anything wrong. We spent a little bit of time asking the question, like, what have we done wrong?
What's going on? Yeah.
What's going on? And the answer was, it's not us. It's that people were either telling us their businesses were down 30% as well, or they were lying. It was one or the other. And lying makes it sound malicious. It wasn't. What I realized was, wait a minute. There's all these people in that industry, some of which are in very influential or powerful positions, controlling lots of dollars in one way or another, who have never been in the business world during a downturn. Yeah. They entered the business world after 2008, and this was their first time seeing it, and they didn't know how to process it. It was because it is scary. Even if you have been there before, it's scary. But it's especially scary when you haven't been there before, and you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything. Like, if I say nothing, maybe it'll just get better, right? Yeah. And it took a while. It took another 6 months before those same people that were saying, everything's fine, were saying, like, I guess it's okay to talk about the fact that the whole industry's down. It's like, yep, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Yep,
that's right. And I think a couple of points you made that are really important is, like, I tend to internalize everything. I'm, hey, when you want to criticize, look out the window, or what is that? When you want to criticize, look in the mirror, compliment, look out the window.
Look out the window, sure.
And so when this stuff happens, and I've been through these same cycles before, coming out of COVID, same kind of thing. I'm always like, what am I doing wrong? what's not working anymore, because everything changes, right? Nothing stays the same. Some technique you figured out for a while that's killing it eventually will stop. Either everybody starts doing it, or your unfair advantage goes away and you have to create another one.
Yes.
But it's the point that struck me, that your comment is being connected in the industry is very important. Otherwise, you don't have all you're going to do is think it's your fault. If you don't have other peers to speak to and to share information, like your point earlier in co-opetition, you need sounding boards and peer groups and ways to have those conversations so you can realize, oh, okay, it's not us. It doesn't mean you don't have to act. You absolutely have to act.
Have to act, yes.
Yeah. And hopefully you're acting before, because if you've been through it a time or two before, you could start to see it around the edges. Like, hey, these steady customers or whatever, they're changing their habits. What's happening here?
What happened?
Yeah.
Right.
So you start, and you want to talk to them, right? They're like your first leading indicator. Like, what's going on? Oh, our budgets are cut, or hey, we're bringing everything this, or we're taking everything in house. We're not using your services anymore. We're trying to save money. You start to see that enough, and then you should start talking to your peers. Just like, are you guys seeing this too? Or is something different? And many industries are headed to commodity status. Always. And you don't want to be there when it becomes a commodity. You want to take advantage of it when it's a profit center, and kind of shift your way into something else as it becomes a commodity. And economic pressure, I think, accelerates that. And so if you talk to people and get involved, it'll help with your framework and your thought process, because it sucks. Because you know what comes next? Oh, I can't have all these people working for me.
I got to lay some people off. That's right.
I can't afford this big build. I can't pay the rent, or I can't pay the mortgage on the big building we have. Or
when you are victims, but I'll use the word because it's efficient. But when you are victim of someone else's budget cuts, eventually you will have your own budget cuts if you don't change anything. And so I like this idea of, blaming yourself or looking inward, however you want to frame that, because that is the thing that will, for me anyway, that motivates me to find creative solutions.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
and look, sometimes those solutions, or sometimes what happens in an industry, in any industry, when there's an economic downturn, is that some businesses will stop. They will close. Yeah, some businesses will be acquired. There'll be some version of consolidation, right? And some businesses will hunker down and figure out a way to, okay, well, if our business was able to serve, 100 customers, how do we take the resources we have and serve 200 customers so that we can pay for the resources that we have, right? Don't bring on new things. Right. And sometimes that's doable and sometimes it's not. And you got to figure that out and all of those things. But it is a catalyst for change, and not all of that change is positive for any one perspective, right? If you're the person at the company that runs the company that has to lay people off, that sucks. If you're one of the people that gets laid off, also that sucks, right? Like all of those things happen, but they happen, and then usually, unless the whole industry craters, which is rare, but it certainly could happen. But usually what happens on the other end is when the economics turn around, then you're positioned to really take advantage of it because you've made yourself this efficient, profitable machine, or at least break-even machine that can survive an economic downturn. Maybe you can thrive during it too, which is great. But if you can survive it, then when things open up, man, you again look like a genius, right? And but somebody said something to me a long time ago. When it rains, fill up your buckets.
Yes. That's right. Your bank account.
That's your bank account.
Your bank account. So that you can, because there's also tons of opportunities when economic downturns happen. And I'm speaking from a a business owner that's lived in the excess inventory, surplus, taking advantage of opportunities. I'm an opportunistic buyer, whether it's excess inventory that didn't sell or your business that you can't keep running, right? So
Correct.
if you have that bucket that you filled up, you can really make those economic downturns work for you.
Yeah.
And you have to survive them. And it's another reason why I love diversifying within your business into different areas, different opportunities, because when one of them slows down, when our school business, when school budgets all started to get pressure down, as, different school districts had less kids, well, my wholesale parts business was going up because I was selling in other areas. So it's always having, this balance of things. If you're just focused on one thing and you don't expect it to change, you're going to have a hard time.
Yes.
So
Yeah. It's send us your questions about this. There's a whole lot more we could talk about this, but we don't want to impose on your time more than you've expected us to. So
there you go. I'll leave you. It's not your fault when it happens, but it's your fault if you don't act.
Yes.
If you don't take the actions, and if you've seen it before, and those, like I said earlier, those indicators, you have to be quick and you have to communicate because your people know what's going on around. They see it too. And if you think you're hiding it by not talking about it, that's just not true. They see it.
No, I'm very frank with the team. It's like, okay, well, the economy sucks this year, and I'll tell people, look, we lost as a business, we lost money in whatever year, in 2023, we lost money in our business. Okay, it's fine. Like I always say it as calmly as I can, because it's not news to me, right? So I've already processed the loss. It's like, okay, well, we lost money, but obviously we're able to keep everybody employed. We're used to this. We know how to ride this, or at least we think we do. Plus, all the things that we've already been doing together are the things that will set us on a track to success going forward. So
it's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear your stories, how you adapt to economic uncertainty, downturns, whatever it happens. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Speak out.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
I will say, as someone who is in a line of business that is that leading indicator, I am seeing signs of things aiming up. And that started probably mid-November, early December. So it's very early days of those positive signs. But they are positive signs, and there are several of them for us. So maybe that means something good for you, and we can all keep on living that charmed life. We will see you next week. Or Friday, whatever day it is.
Yeah, that's right. Says the guy that's just rolled in. And
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Oops.
No, it's good. It's good.
No, it's okay.
All right, so we're in between the shows now. So the 400 or so people watching the live stream, and I believe that they are there.
And I believe
Dave is going to prep that last show. Just a little quick post production. He's going to spin some knobs, flip some switches so that I can go do a little bit of post-production. But we do this real quick so that we can get this done and move on to our other businesses. So we're Dave calls us lazy podcasters, but we're only lazy in the sense that
we're not that lazy.
We just want to get it done and automate as much as we can, because the real value's in the content, getting it out there, not how pretty it looks or so this show will come out Wednesday, and then the show we're going to record in a few minutes will come out on Friday. And if you stick around, we're going to talk about not confusing the delivery system with the product that you're selling. And then Dave has some context about uninterrupted work time that I'm interested to hear, because I have a hard time with that since I have ADHD.
Is that what we're doing next?
Yeah.
So we're doing context and delivery system. No. Context and global talent.
No, we're not doing that. Next week.
That one's getting skipped. Okay.
Yeah,
I got another one for next week.
We
too.
did the I want to win thing. Basically, that was that slipped in as sometimes happens, which is great. And,
yes,
I like to think that. So it's good. It's good. Excellent. It's January 27th. I'm supposed to have all my 1099s by the end of January. I mean, that's just a myth, because I still get them like in June, which is kind of crazy. I'm jumping into tax talk.
What have I done here?
372.
Shoot, hang on. I screwed up something with the audio. I fixed it, but now I don't know which file is which.
Take your time. Dave's running on, I don't know, borrowed time or
1613 is not us. Okay, 1613. No.
Awesome.
All right, this is the right one then.
Fantastic.
That's the one I want. 1638. That's it. So that's BB 618 edited. Okay, now I can do my job. Sorry,
that's okay.
I'm behind the 8-ball here. What happened was I hit the magic button to stop the recording before in the middle of the outro. Really, it wasn't even a spot where we could have just been like, yeah, it was fine, close enough. I was like, no.
Good.
So I had to stitch the two recordings together. Thankfully, the way I do things is I never hit stop on the tape. I just hit cut to a new track. And in this case, it worked out perfectly because the music was already playing and you can't hear there will be no cut to hear. It's awesome. But it great. Meant I had to launch an editor and put it back together, splice it back together. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's good.
But I'm there now.
Pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now I'm actually doing my job.
Awesome.
Not making up for the mistake
Dave is
that
going to
Dave the podcaster
twirl
made.
the knobs and
that's right.
flip the switches and yeah, that's good.
Audio hijack. This is the one.
Live on X. Fantastic. Very good.
Brilliant. 618.
Yeah, I'm reading about this deep seek.
I don't know anything about
AI.
this. All right. Cool.
Crazy.
I had an AI experience with something I did on the airplane going out to LA that I will share next week.
Great.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like totally blew my mind.
Nice. I love it. That is great. I'm looking forward to it. In
fact, I might swap that in for the value of uninterrupted weekend work.
Okay.
We'll see how I feel. Yeah.
Okay, see how you're doing. Yeah.
Because AI Friday is a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. We'll talk about the delivery system.
The delivery, yeah. You pick the intro
topic.
you
want. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. That sounds great.
Okay. I'm almost there. 618.
Yeah, no worries. We're just hanging out, scrolling my feed.
That's bad for you.
No, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. But it's okay.
So actually, that's interesting because there was a period of time where I asked you, do you ever scroll your feed? And you said this was, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. Yeah. And you're like, no, I don't have time for that. I'm just busy posting.
Yeah. That's still true for the most part.
Is that still true? Okay.
Still true. Yeah. There's no way I could. I mean, I do like to look to see like what's going on, who's very popular, who should I connect with, and because even though I don't follow very many people, I mean I follow like 700 people or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
But compared to followers, that's not much. Yeah. But I'm not one of those guys like James Clear that follows 0 people, and I always call him out for that. I think that's kind of it's not a really good flex, and I love James Clear, and I love Atomic Habits, even though he gleaned a lot of those from Scott Adams. It's still worth it because it's super powerful.
Yeah. Well, he put them into a book in a way that I don't think Scott ever could have.
No,
Scott's business books are great.
They're storytelling though,
but they're storybooks, not. Yeah, yes, exactly.
I agree with you, and so I think it's great. And he calls out that this Scott came up with this concept, and then so it's great, and I love the guy, but that 0 follower thing is. I don't know. It's kind of
douchey.
It's kind of douchey. Yeah. It's kind of a weird flex. I don't think it. So whenever I can, I always mention it to him. But
all right.
Are we ready? Almost.
Yeah. This is the first live stream where we've dropped anything, and I've said both douchey and an F-bomb. So there you go. That'll tell you. Listen,
real life sneaking in.
I am home for 36 hours in between flights here. So this has been mayhem. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Travel tip. pick days where you avoid alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Entire days, because your alcohol will, without question, cause you to get less quality sleep.
Absolutely.
Because your body your heart rate has to be elevated to process out the poison that you've put into your system. It's just how it works. And anything, I mean, I suppose if you drank in the morning, you'd probably have processed it out.
But
by
that's
then.
another problem.
That's a whole different thing to talk about. I don't know. If you're traveling in Europe, it's really not a problem.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, I had a meeting at South by Southwest with a guy from London, and I sat down, and he had beat me to the meeting spot. And so he was sitting there, and he says, "Do you want anything to drink?" And he looks at me and he says, "I'm having a spritz." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll join you for a spritz. It's fine."
Great. That's good.
But yeah, anything afternoon or later, you get your sleep isn't quite as good, or the quality of your sleep isn't quite as good, just because of that. And I found I did that last week at NAMM. Essentially went one day on, one day off, and it really made a difference in making it through that show. But anyway,
that's cool.
I'm ready to rock on this next one. If you are,
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Yeah, right here we. I got things in the right spot. Great, here we go. Business Brain, episode 619 for Casual Friday, January 31st, National Fun at Work Day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few ideas, some from us, some from you. We crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to analyze and tune our business brains so that we can each continue living or start living or enhance the living of those charmed lives. Shopify.com/businessbrain is our sponsor. That's where you go to sign up for a $1 per month trial period of a fantastic service that I use with several of my businesses. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in sunny California, where we finally got a little rain, I'm on Shannon Jean, as far as
nice. I know. Yeah. We even got a little rain down in Anaheim when I was there last week, which I know is good for them down there with everything going on. Yeah, for sure.
Let's keep it from sliding into the ocean now. But trying to get the rain is good to get the fires out. So
yes, for sure.
It's kind of scary when you live in a state that has a fire season. So
yeah, man. I feel, and obviously being at a music conference where so many people were from LA, I ran into people that I just had lost their homes. Bob Clearmountain was there. He lost his home and his studio, and it sucks.
It does suck.
Sucks.
There's nothing good about it, and it's nuts. But
hopefully, by the time this episode comes out, the news will all be better. I hope.
I agree. I'm sure. I'm sure it will be. Things can only get better.
That's it.
Wrote a song about that. But hey, I want to talk about. I mentioned this phrase last week on the show about not confusing the delivery system with what it is you're actually selling, and I wanted to kind of break that out. And I've been thinking more and more about it as it relates to my business. And if you search online for that term or ask your AI, there's a bunch of back content about folks that have talked about this in many ways. And an easy example, like if you're in the HVAC business, well, the HVAC stuff is your delivery. That's the delivery system.
Okay.
But what you're really selling is like comfort and security, right? Because you want people to be warm in the winter and cool in the summertime.
Okay.
And
yeah.
That's what you should focus on, not the fact that you bring big giant boxes into their house and set it up and run pipe. Nobody cares about that. They want to be warm in the winter and cool in the summer, and they want it to be maybe efficient as possible. But I would argue comfort is number one.
Yeah, sure.
In my business for a while, I was confusing. This is why we're talking about it, because I was like, wait, I'm doing this. Like, what I really sell is transformation. It's like, hey, I can help you transform the way you think and to create something from nothing. The delivery system that I use is talking about auctions, liquidation.
Oh, I see. Your
entrepreneurship.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Right.
Right. And so by understanding that, it's helped me a lot focus on what do people really want? Like, people come to me and they say, I want to learn how to buy Costco liquidation products. Well, they do want to learn that, but what they really want is the flexibility. They want to spend more time with their family. They want to go to their kids' baseball games in the middle of the week and not have to worry about answering to somebody. They want to include their kids in their business. I have a new client that has a 16-year-old daughter that he's like, I want her to see and help us learn this thing.
Yeah.
So what they want is transformation, right? The vehicle just happens to be this entrepreneurship, or I have a customer that's learning about Poshmark and how to sell luxury goods on there, and I'm helping her learn that whole market. But what she really wants is
transformation.
Transformation. She wants to be able to generate revenue. So,
no, this is really interesting. When you and what you're saying also articulates this in a way. But when you brought this topic up to me, I didn't know where you were going to go with it because we hadn't had the conversation yet, and so. What I thought was, well, this is it keeps you out of the weeds of your business, right? Learning what your business actually does versus how you do it, right? But when you said that, I thought, oh man, I've been in that scenario before with my own business, not so that I understand my customers better, so that I understand my business better. And it has led to the flexibility to pivot the business.
Sure.
Right? When you realize, wait a minute, we don't do the thing that we thought we did.
Or anymore. Yeah, right.
Well, or even if we did in the past, that was just sort of the side effect or the net effect of what we were doing then. But what we actually do could be used to do other things and be in a different line of business, right? And so there's we pivot.
Yes, pivot.
And that I think is also a benefit of this line of thinking that you're talking about here, right? Because it being able to see your business the way other people see it,
right?
And is helpful, really helpful for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, right. And it's less transactional. Right.
Yes. Right.
And that's important because you don't want just to be transactional. You want this long-term relationship with your customers.
Yes.
You really want to understand what you're offering them. It also helps to fine-tune your marketing, right?
All of it. Yes.
Yeah, we had Noel from Iris Tattoo on a few weeks ago or last month or something like that. Well, yeah, he's in the tattoo and piercing business, but is that really what he sells?
No. Right. No
way, man.
He sells a luxury high-end experience.
It's an experience. And it's also it's a statement, and it's my independence and maybe your rebelliousness, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's I want to be with the in crowd. So there's a whole transformational type of thing going on in the background that is very important to his customers.
Yes.
But how they get there is they come in and they get a tattoo or they get something pierced or whatever.
That's right. That's right.
So just think about it. I also think what I like about it too is that I think just like humans, we all want purpose. Well, if your business has more purpose-oriented aspects or outlook to it, it's easier to get your team behind you. So if you focus on what truly are we doing, you're not selling just tattoos and ink on someone's shoulder. It could be life-changing. When I was selling luxury handbags, I had no idea how important it was to them, to somebody that was buying it. Until I started getting, emails.
Yeah, you were just in the business of buying handbags at one price and selling them for another.
I was 100% transactional.
Right.
But I realized, wow, this can be transformational to someone who's going into a job interview or wants to feel confident, and on and on and on. I changed the way I marketed these things, and I took less of the detail. It's just like why Apple stopped talking about megahertz and memory and all those details, because most people don't care. They're like, what's it going to do for me? How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
And what problem does it solve for me? Right. So that's the understand what you're really selling part of it, not the delivery system or how you're getting the message to your client.
I like this. Yeah. Don't be transactional.
Yeah.
Be transformational. All right. Have you ever wished that starting a business was as simple as hitting buy now on a really good sale? Well, with our sponsor, Shopify, it practically is. I use Shopify for merch with 2 of my other businesses, and it's so flawless. I almost forgot what it was like to wrestle with clunky systems and endless setup headaches. Shopify lets you design your online store, manage inventory, handle payments, and ship orders all in one beautifully simple platform. Plus, with tools to connect your social channels, you can sell wherever your customers are scrolling. And did I mention Shop Pay? It's like a conversion wizard, turning abandoned carts into cash. Here's the kicker. If Shopify could make tea, I'd never leave my desk again. But since it runs my businesses like a dream, that's close enough. And hey, established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right. So, I've had a lot of travel this month. In fact, I counted it. I shouldn't have, but I counted it, Shannon, and I am home less days than I'm on the road in January.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I did it to myself. I knew it going in. It's fine. But what that meant was I had not yet had time sitting at my desk to write my end of year or beginning of the year executive summary.
Sure.
Okay. And you taught me the value of this years ago. And so I found it helpful. But it is not, for me, it's not the easiest thing to get started with writing. And so, I will procrastinate it because it's like, well, I don't need it right now.
I never do that, Dave.
Okay. So I'm sitting on the plane to Los Angeles, and I had it on my to-do list to do the executive summary on the plane. Now, this is after kicking that can down the road from probably about December 15th on my to-do list. Like, I could do it, maybe not tomorrow, but a couple of days, not today, certainly, but whatever. Continuing to kick this can down the road. I'm on the plane. Prior to leaving, I had cleared the backlog of my to-do list. Now, that doesn't count the things that I had pushed forward like this, but all the things that are backlogs. And I felt pretty good about that. I was jazzed. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I'm in the middle of this travel mayhem, and I was able to get ahead of myself and get caught up and all the things, and I feel good. Everything's great. I'm not leaving on this trip with a big pile of stuff they got to figure out what to do about. And I thought, all right, I'm going to do this. And I sat down to do it. I'm on the plane. I'm on JetBlue. That's somewhat relevant to this story because they have free Wi-Fi and fast Wi-Fi. And I was just sitting there like, okay, how am I going to get started? And I'm like, wait, I know the answer to that question. Whenever I ask myself, how am I going to get started? The answer is ChatGPT. Like, okay, great. So I go into ChatGPT and I type, and I said something along the lines. It was a 1-paragraph thing. I should have brought it up because it would have been good to actually read what I said. But I said, I want to write my year-end executive summary for my 3 businesses, talking about all the things that we've accomplished this year, the things we missed, and the things that we have to look forward to doing here in 2025.
Nice.
I want you to write it, and then I will make edits to it and we can collaborate on it. And that last part's important because I didn't know what I was doing when I did that, but boy, howdy, am I going to do that in the future. Because what happened was, first of all, it wrote this executive summary, and it was missing a few details, of course, but I never told it what businesses to write it for. It got it correct for all of them, including the business I never talk about. Yep.
Nice.
It identified things that we had done in the business that I had not written any press releases about or anything.
Is it looking in your previous conversations. Oh,
It was
God.
absolutely learning from our previous conversations.
Love it.
And also from the web,
right now.
like both of these things. So,
Got it.
And that alone was amazing. It was like, oh, thank goodness. Now I have a start that I can edit.
That's a big deal.
But here's the thing, Shannon. It said to me, I'm going to use Canvas for this. Do you know about ChatGPT Canvas?
Yes, I do.
I did not. I missed the announcement in
sidebar
October.
Thing pops up and then
Right. So a sidebar pops up. So it's a 2-paned window, but the rightmost pane is wider. The leftmost pane is just a single column. The leftmost pane is where you're interacting with ChatGPT. The bulk of the window is where you are collaborating on editing whatever the document is. And I can edit it, and so can ChatGPT, and it sees what I'm doing. And I sat there on the plane, and I went through everything, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to change this. It's like, okay, I see that you changed that. Great, no problem. And we got to the end of all of that. And then the second thing that I had been kicking down the road on my to-do list, Shannon, was defining 2 KPIs per business, key performance indicators. And so I was like, well, can I kill 2 birds here? And I asked, after spending whatever, it was 30 minutes maybe getting this executive summary together. I mean, it wasn't much.
Awesome, dude.
And I realized after the fact there was one big thing that it and I missed in the process. Okay, that's fine. I go back and edit it. That's the point. But I said, all right, now create 2 KPIs per business and put them in the future plan sections of each business. And in 5 seconds, it did this. And I looked at them, and Shannon, none of these KPIs would have been set the way I would set them, but that's because I'm the person responsible for getting them done. ChatGPT, A, not a person, and B, completely objective about all of this stuff. And its KPIs, as I read through it, was like, I would like to change that from 15% to 8%, but what it said is doable. Like, It might take a little more effort or a little more focus or any of those variety of things that it takes to like actually improve. But I was like, oh yeah, no, it's not, dang it, it's not wrong about this. And I had that feeling about every one of them. Dude, this Canvas thing. And what I haven't used it with yet, but I cannot wait to do so, is coding. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because
coding is
that's
huge.
Probably where this shines even better.
Yes.
But and now I know that I can tell it, hey, use Canvas for this, and it will do it in Canvas. It just so happens that I said something about, and I want to collaborate with you on this, that it was like, let's use Canvas, Dave. And I was like, holy crap. I may have like gasped out loud and probably scared people around me on the plane, because it's a bad thing to do. It turns out when you're flying to gasp about something.
It just did it. I just, as you've been talking, I've been typing it, right? Hey, how to do it. And then I said, it's doing this executive summary. And I was like, oh, that's right. I did that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then I said, let's collaborate and adjust this. And it said, okay. And it went blink and split. And oh yeah,
you can do it. You don't have to do it in the first query of your prompt. You can do it at any point. I know, dude.
Amazing, dude.
It is talk about transformational things, dude.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is it calls out, because I use it for so many different things. I use it like to help my clients, and I'm developing things and all stuff.
Yes.
I need to segment more of my work and tell it to look in this directory to create this, because it's like crediting me, which is great. I always love more credit.
Of course.
For like, oh, you developed knowledge of this and this and this, and you created this and this and this. And I'm like, well,
yeah, maybe not.
But this is great. Yeah, but it really,
it's great.
I mean, it nailed it. Wow.
I know.
Yeah, it said it says introduction. In 2024, I focused on scaling my business at advisory and life coaching practice while expanding my expertise across multiple industries. This year was marked by innovation in coaching methodologies, high impact marketing strategies, and the launch of new educational and business development initiatives.
I know, dude.
I love it. Yeah,
It's crazy.
My work span entrepreneurship coaching, online course development, social media growth, political campaign marketing, and because I help some candidates.
You had that local campaign. Yep.
Yep, and business credibility consulting. Wow,
Amazing.
I love it.
What that tells me is you don't do enough in ChatGPT prepping for this podcast because it doesn't know about it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're right. All I do with ChatGPT is create the graphics for this show.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, but you probably don't tell it that you're doing it for this podcast.
No.
I recommend that. As someone who creates graphics for two I don't create them for this one. You do.
Yeah.
But I create them for Mac Geek Gab and Gig Gab, and I have found it immensely helpful to say, please create a graphic for my Gig Gab podcast for working musicians that highlights X, Y, or Z, blah, 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 whatever.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to start this week.
It really helps kind of focus it down. And then, of course, it'll train ChatGPT that you're part of the Business Brain podcast.
I'm going to ask it. I
also create all the ad scripts in ChatGPT for the separate podcast. So it sees routinely me doing things. What's weird about that I noticed, Shannon, is I've been doing that for a while, and for the first 8 months of last year, it would start the ad scripts with like, "Hey Mac Geek Gabbers" or "Hey Gig Gabbers" and things like that, things that I never would say, and I wouldn't say them. I wouldn't edit it in the thing. I just knew to say it my way, like "all right" or "hey." That kind of thing. But I start most of the ads with, all right, so right now, that's how it starts my ad scripts. Oh. So I think it's been learning from the audio that it scrapes. And because I never told it any of this. And yet all of my scripts now start with, all right. Yep. I know.
Amazing.
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's super creepy, but I'm embracing it for what it is.
Of course.
It's like I've always wanted Jane from Ender's Game, the ubiquitous voice assistant that he had, but it knew everything about him and his life, so it could coach him or guide him or provide him information, whatever. And that's where ChatGPT is getting to. So, for better and for worse. I know.
I'm doing it
Same.
right now. Executive. That is great. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you have to take advantage and learn this stuff.
Yes. I said it many times at both CES and NAMM. If you are a small business owner and you are choosing not to use ChatGPT or some form of LLM to AI thing, use whatever term you want. If you are not using it, you are actively giving your competition a leg up on you. You are choosing to do that.
Right. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity to go market to small businesses and entrepreneurs that don't understand it, that you can come in and show them how it can dramatically streamline and systemize their businesses. It's a huge opportunity.
It is. It's either an opportunity or a weakness if you're using it or not using it. Of course, certainly in the musician circles and even not, there are plenty of people that understandably and legitimately have a philosophical issue with these LLMs because of what I just said. They scrape all of our content without our permission.
You're right.
But here's the thing. No one's going to close that Pandora's box.
Yeah, it's done.
It's over. So I agree that was not cool for them to just do that.
Sure.
However, now I get to take advantage of that for pennies on the dollar. So it's okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's how I sleep at night.
Gotta
anyway.
ride the wave, man. You
ride the wave. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Let us know how you are using ChatGPT or other AIs. And keep living that charmed life. We'll see you next week. And we're out. I did it right this time. Woo!
Awesome, dude. And the introduction. This is great. I could mess with this all day.
I know.
Love it. Because I never stop and be like, oh, what did I get done? Yeah. So it's nice to have,
Yeah. I'm also wondering, like, what could I do to where, like, what could I feed it that lets it see all of the things that I did? Like, if I showed it, if I exported my to-do list and my calendar to some, like an ICS format, and then just sent that up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if I
kind of want it to see all my email.
Yes, of course you do. Because
I know
the business stuff, your business stuff.
Yeah.
It also, like, I just had to go out and I said, well, okay, I also co-host the Business Brain podcast. Go to our website, find the content, talk about what we did this last year. You know, same kind of thing. It just added this stuff. Oh, here's the key discussions from the show. It's
amazing.
This is really cool. I love it. Well, thank you for hanging out with us this week. The first episode that we recorded earlier will be out on Wednesday, and then what we just did on the show will be out on Friday. We hope you listen to us again. If you like the show, we would love your review at businessbrain.show/review. Take 30 seconds and tell us.
Please, and thank you.
It dramatically changes our lives when we get one of those reviews, and we'll mention it on the show. Let's do it. We try to give you a lot on this episode. We'd love that one little thing back. Thank you. All right. Take it easy, folks.